I spent 10 years becoming an architect, and now I'm at the end of that journey. I'm not really sure it was worth it. I was reading this crazy article the other day that said that only 18% of those that start in architecture first year go on to become registered architects. Now, I kind of believe it because I have seen so many people start and quit this journey. But I didn't. I made it the whole way through. I did what I was supposed to. I never failed anything. I passed straight through the entire time, which apparently is also quite statistically unlikely. But I did all of the work. I did all of my university experience. I did everything that I needed to become registered. And now all I do is paperwork. That was not what I was sold as being an architect was going to be. I wanted to make this video for anyone that started on a journey and stuck with it, only to then become kind of disillusioned with it by the time you got to the end. That's what this story is all about. The way I think I should break it up would be how architecture breaks it up. You'll have your part 1, your part 2, and your part 3. Okay, so let's start this with my part 1 story. I've done 3 years of architectural education at this point. I've taken a gap year and I'm working as an architectural intern. And boy, was that an experience. The juxtaposition between what you're learning in university and like the practice is so different that I came back to the course wondering like, when are we going to learn like all the stuff I had to do in the actual career? Spoiler alert, never. You never do. I was working on a project, and basically this project had been granted planning, and so it was going to tender, but the people who wanted to take over the project and construct it and own it, they were basically for like social housing, and they wanted me to redesign, but like basically value engineer the entire scheme. And what that means is what was once a big curtain wall with like double French doors out into the back garden I was told to like make it the bare minimum. And how you do that is you like reduce the window size and the door size, and you run a sunlight daylight analysis, and then, you know, if it passes, you make it smaller. It passes, you make it smaller. And it's basically just this over and over and over again until you're left with what honestly looks like a prison cell. It was dire. And ethically, I just felt so wrong about this. Just like morally. I mean, you learn like ethics and morals in architecture and, you know, design philosophy, and this spat in the face of all of that. So I went to my manager and I asked her, I was like, is this really what you want me to do? Is this really what we do here? And she basically just said like, look, if you have a problem with it, go to the director. And I don't think she actually thought I would. And, you know, in hindsight, probably I shouldn't. But I went to the director and I said to him, I was like, this feels immoral. And he basically laughed at me. He was just like, we're a business. We're not here to give people things for free. If you make it as big as you say, like, people can't afford it. And I was like, that doesn't seem true to me at all. And we argued about it, and he basically just said like, look, you're an intern, you know, if you can't do what we say and you won't draw what we tell you to draw, then what use do I have for you? i.e., you're going to be fired. So I sucked it up and I went back and, you know, I redid the analysis and I redrew them for all. But I think it was that glimmer of hope where he was saying like, you're only an intern. And I was like, yeah, no, I get that. So in my head, I computed that as like, oh, when I get to the next stage, things will be better because I'll have more to say. I'll have more decision-making capabilities. Spoiler alert. You don't. It's money the whole way up, and your artistic vision and your sense of morality will just be chipped away at you. Yeah. I mean, if I think of like my part 2 story now, okay? So we've fast forwarded a few years, and I've done my 3 years. I did my year internship. I've done my 2 years. I've got my degree and all that. And now I'm a part 2 architect. I'm back at working in a firm. And for whatever reason, they got me as like a team lead, more or less. I had been working like part-time for the last few years in between my internship and now. And I'd kind of worked my way up, I guess you would say. And yeah, so I was like in charge of other architectural interns, so other part 1s and some other part 2s as well. And we had this like really big tender coming on, and I had to do a couple of like really late nights with the team, and you know, you'd buy them all pizza and you would just kind of stay in studio until like 2 a.m. And this one particular night, it was like the final deadline for this tender, and I sent it out, booked everyone a taxi home. They all left, and I decided to walk home because it wasn't that far, but it was like through this park I grew up going through, and 3 guys tried to jump me. Very, very like side note, I'm like a 4th dan black belt, and I've been competing all over the world in karate. And I do like, you know, jiu-jitsu, MMA, boxing. I do everything. So like, they weren't very well at the end of it. And one of them recognized me and they ran off. And yeah, I walked into work the next morning and like, I got pulled directly into a meeting with my director. And he was just ranting and raving and telling me basically like how terrible I was. And how could I not have spotted this, and everything was wrong and the documentation was wrong and I missed so much stuff in the bill of quantities. Bro, I was like, I know what a bill of quantities is, but it's what a quantity surveyor does. It's not what, you know, a part 2 architect does. So you making me do the bill of quantities, of course there was stuff wrong. It's a completely different degree. And then the other things was like there was a clash between the M&E and the structural engineer's drawings, like the M&E vents and then the structural beams. And he was like, how didn't you spot that? And I was like, sir, this is the first time I've ever seen an M&E drawing. Like in university, you don't learn that. I literally had never seen one before. So how could I know it was wrong if I didn't even know what it was? Yeah, so we had a big like, you know, argument about all of this, and somehow I left that with double my pay. So from my part 1 to my part 2, I literally doubled my pay, and I look back on that, I can't really understand it, but I think it was just the culture of the firm where like everything was like money, and you know, they were bought and they were trying to buy me, and I left. Anyway, so I moved on into different firms, and ultimately I got my part 3. And now I am an architect. I've been working as an architect, like a registered architect, for a couple of years now. The problems I have with the career honestly only got worse the further into the career I got. So you have, as an intern, you're doing a lot of the drawings, but you have no decisions on anything. As a part 2, you're starting to do paperwork and coordinate stuff. And honestly, I was probably reviewing more drawings than I was actually doing them. And now, as a registered architect, all I do is paperwork. I check ancillary certs, I do my assigned certifier job, I check disability access certs, fire certs, planning compliance, I write housing quality assessments, it's just a lot of reading and writing and no creativity, none. And the projects that I have that are at site or have gone to site and finished now, they barely even resemble the designs I did, because there's like this weird morphology that happens when you go to site, and that's too difficult to construct. Or and I'm not talking like crazy things that like architecture students kind of come up with. I'm talking about just like a house, but that's not cost effective. Or suddenly your downpipes are now PVC instead of metal. Your aluminium sills are now concrete. Your windows are PVC. Your external metal cladding, I swear to God, it is now just a different color paint. I got to pick the paint, but that's not creative. Checking your drawings, checking the structure lines up with like the civil, like they were expecting me to do as a part 2. All of that, it's just emails, phone calls, site visits, the odd time. None of it is creative. And it's left me wondering, like, was I really lied to this much? Architecture, it's just not what I thought it was going to be. So now I'm left with a question I really didn't expect. What do you do when you spent 10 years building a life that you're now unsure if you actually want? For me, I knew that I couldn't stay in studio. I didn't want to be in an office from 9 to 5, Monday to Friday for the rest of my life. I needed to be creative. I needed to travel and see the world. And I created this life for myself through a lot of negotiation and hard work, where I'm a digital nomad architect, something I didn't even realize was possible a couple of years ago. But now I get to travel around the world and I get to see and experience and feel the architecture that inspired me, that I only read about and saw in drawings growing up. I now get to couple my kind of behind the scenes knowledge of how things are actually made with the design philosophy and the art of architecture. That's what this channel is for me. It's me trying to reconnect with my creativity and share that passion with the world. So if that's in any way interesting to you, or if you found yourself going down a road only to find that you don't recognize where it led you, then please follow along, and I hope to see you in the next one.